Pizzagate for Dummies, what's all the fuss about? Too dedicated to all the children out there, who as you read this are locked away somewhere awaiting their next torture session, gang rape, or ritual sacrifice. I offer this work as a service to them, that it might help raise awareness and someday put an end to the reign of Satanism and pedophilia on this earth. As we enjoy our normal lives, we must never forget this goes on every day, and we must not stop until we put an end to it and bring the perpetrators to justice. 3. Pizzagate, what's all the fuss about? This is a primer for people who know nothing about Pizzagate, except perhaps that the mainstream media has said it's all a hoax. You may have even seen the owner of Comet Ping Pong, Jeffrey Elephantes, on Faux News portraying the victim, after an angry out-of-work actor showed up with an AR-15 rifle at his restaurant and fired off a few rounds. The gunman had seen the WikiLeaks material, including the Instagram screen grabs, and he said he had to do something. The man should have just gone in, bought a slice of pizza and had a look around. It's just another red flag that he may have been part of this incident to support the fake news narrative, so people wouldn't want to look at the actual evidence for fear of being labeled a conspiracy theorist. 4. It all started when WikiLeaks released emails from Hillary's campaign manager John Podesta's Gmail account on August 7, 2016. The emails were not hacked by Russians. They were in fact leaked by people in the US intelligence community who had had enough of the Clintons and their corruption. Watch Steve Pikesenik as he explains in more detail what really happened and why. https://www.youtube.com/watch v=r5kvwsc5lm4min. In addition, here's a radio interview with WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange on Sean Hannity's radio show from Dec 15, 2016. Listen as he talks about his sources and says overtly that Russia was not involved. Notice the clip of James Clapper as he says the evidence linking Russia is weak at best. https://www.youtube.com/watch v=ypgdrs.ig.26min. So why all the hype about Russian hacking and fake news? Because the biggest story in history just leaked out, and people, especially young millennials, have taken the ball and run with it in true journalistic fashion. What's the biggest story in history? That there is an enormous global child trafficking and pedophilia ring that is being run for the benefit of the political and business elite, and that law enforcement and the media are complicit in a cover-up. The cold dark fact is that there is a giant underworld of child abuse that is completely unknown to most people. It has been there for decades, perhaps centuries, and its scope goes far beyond party lines or national boundaries. And Pizzagate is just another opportunity to bring this scourge of our species out into the light to face justice, and to free all the children locked away somewhere as you read this. Obviously those who are behind all of this know they must not let it get out, and will say or do anything to prevent that from happening. 5. On December 8, the Countering Disinformation and Propaganda Act, passed in the Senate, quietly inserted inside the 2017 National Defense Authorization Act, NDAA conference report. Obama signed of the NDAA on Dec 23, 2016, and the Countering Disinformation and Propaganda Act is now law and will be used to control the narratives and squelch the alt media. 6. Let's start with a little background on the subject. The first obvious clue to a huge organized pedophilia network surfaced in 1982 with the disappearance of 12-year-old Johnny Gosch in Des Moines, Iowa. Noreen Gosch, Johnny's mother, to this day has not given up on the search for her son and to find out what happened. http://www.johnnygosch.com/Noreen's story alone should have been a national headliner, but what happened to her and her son will really disturb you. Basically, not only did local and federal law enforcement not help, they were actually in on it and covered it up. Here's a short news clip with her story, followed by a radio interview. https://www.youtube.com/watch v=im7x2hc0m1m and t=8685. You may have to restart video from the beginning. Noreen Gosch hired private investigators for years after Johnny was abducted. Here is one report that shows how police who tried to move forward with an investigation were punished harshly. 7. Ted Gunderson, retired head of the Los Angeles FBI office, helped Noreen Gosch with her case and speaks very highly of her. In this video, he gives us the grim numbers as of about 2005. 4-5 million practicing Satanists in the US. 83 children abducted every hour in the US equals 1,992 per day, 727,000 per year, 50. 000-60,000 people sacrificed each year in satanic rituals in the US, 150/day. Here is a 1-hour speech Ted made before he was murdered for speaking out about this. He goes into great detail, and it's well worth the small investment of time. https://www. YouTube.com/watch. V equals BPLUD6KQUU and list equals PL Myanmar KO3R0 ROS 6YFZ Ulfiak 0 LGOBCI and index equals 7 Conspiracy of Silence. The documentary, Conspiracy of Silence, was scheduled to air on May 3, 1994 on the Discovery Channel, but influential members of Congress pressured the cable industry to stop the airing and destroy all copies of it. Here is a copy, and trust me, they don't want you to see this. https://www. YouTube.com/watch. V equals GGXI BWV4XY 55 min. 8. The Franklin cover-up. In 1989 came the Franklin cover-up scandal. Former U.S. Congressman John DeCamp exposed a network of pedophilia in Nebraska that went all the way to the White House. https://www. Amazon.com/Franklin cover-up Satanism murder Nebraska/DP/09632158809/ref equals SR11. Here's a 40-minute video on the Franklin cover-up featuring Senator John DeCamp. https://www. YouTube.com/watch. V equals MZIK-IL3DQG and index equals 5 and list equals PL Myanmar KO3R0 8BG Elv Boedo Yarj 1 WMPVR and T equals 6 is 9 Catholic Church pedophilia epidemic. Remember the massive cover-up of pedophilia by the Catholic Church, without any significant recourse for the victims or reform. As Robin Williams so eloquently said, child abuse is not just a sin, it's a felony. https://n Wikipedia org/wiki/Catholic Church sexual abuse cases. Jimmy Savile, and who could forget the Jimmy Savile case, where a BBC star with direct ties to the Crown raped a child an average of once a week for over 40 years. His problem was well known by the BBC staff, and no one gets that close to the royal family without intense scrutiny. Savile even raped dead bodies and terminally ill children dying in the hospital. He was knighted though, maybe for getting away with it for so long. More pedophiles discovered in Britain. This story update was posted while I was writing this in December 2016. If 500 people are suspects, the number of victims could be in the many tens of thousands. Britain's historical child sex scandal has hit record proportions, with nearly 500 people now under investigation over claims of abuse. Children as young as 4 years old were abused. https://www. rt.com/UK/371,119 child sex scandal football/10. There's a giant pedophilia scandal unfolding in Australia. An internet pedophile ring with up to 70,000 members, thought to be the world's largest, has been uncovered by police, a security official said Wednesday. Europol Director Rob Wainwright said Wednesday the ring, which communicated using an internet forum, was probably the largest online pedophile network in the world. Corey Bassett, a public affairs officer for U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, said in an email that there had been 5 arrests and 4 convictions in the U.S. in connection with Operation Rescue. The website operated from a server based in the Netherlands and, at its height, boasted up to 70,000 members worldwide. It added, it attempted to operate as a discussion-only forum where people could share their sexual interest in young boys without committing any specific offences, thus operating below the radar of police attention. Europol said, having made contact on the site, some members would move to more private channels, such as email, to exchange and share illegal images and films of children being abused. Computers seized from those arrested have harvested huge quantities of child abuse images and videos. It added, http://www. NBC News.com/ID/42,108,748/NS/US News Crime and Courts/T/Massive Online Pedophile Ring Busted Cops/# WF7091T6Z 60 Minutes Australia. Another older horrifying case. Check out this short story by 60 Minutes Australia about a young girl abused by her grandmother. Her story is one of the worst I have ever heard. The mother left the child with her father, whom she had divorced, as she was having personal issues at the time. The father left the girl with his mother, who let the girl be raped and witness to ritualistic torture and murder. She was impregnated many times. They would abort the fetus and kill it in front of her. One time they ate it in front of her and made her eat it too, while laughing at her. https://www. YouTube, calm/watch. V equals SLGNMI4SK and index equals 4 and L ist equals PL Myanmar KO3R0, 8BG Elv Boedo Yarj 1 WMPVR. 15 Min 11 pedophile ring discovered in Norway case http://www. Fox News, calm/world/2016/11/20 lawyers politicians among 20 men arrested in Norwegian pedophile network probe. HTML lawyers politicians among 20 men arrested in Norwegian pedophile network probe. Helsinki Norwegian police are investigating a pedophile network suspected to involve at least 51 people, and which include the abuse of infants, and at least one case of a suspect acknowledging abusing his own children. Police have arrested 20 men so far in Western Norway, with 3 convictions, in Norway's largest abuse case to date, Deputy Police Chief Gunnar Fløystad said. The 31 other suspects are from other regions in Norway. Fløystad told reporters Sunday that many of the suspects are highly educated and include lawyers and politicians. He said he could not reveal more details pending the conclusion of the investigation, known as Dark Room, which began in 2015. Prosecutors said the perpetrators met on the dark web, using encryption and anonymity to hide their tracks. 12 Hollywood is also a cesspool of child abuse. On May 23, 2016, Lord of the Rings lead actor Elijah Wood said Hollywood's biggest problem has always been pedophilia. These allegations were covered in Variety, the top Hollywood magazine, among other sources such as the Sunday Times. Here are a few excerpts from Variety, as they are highly relevant. The actor, in a new interview with the Sunday Times, is accusing Tinseltown of having a pedophilia problem, saying, "A lot of vipers are preying on children in the business. Clearly something major was going on in Hollywood. It was all organized. There are a lot of vipers in this industry, people who only have their own interests in mind." He said, "There is darkness in the underbelly. People with parasitic interests will see you as their prey." He added that he's been led down dark paths to realize that these things probably are still happening. Amy Borg's documentary, An Open Secret, revealed the full scope of the Hollywood pedophilia problem and was completely squashed by the establishment after its premiere. Watch it on YouTube, https://www. YouTube, calm/watch. V equals 4EGX4SLF1. It was only shown in 9 theaters in Denver and Seattle starting on June 5, 2015, and was quickly removed. It eventually got distribution by cutting it from an R to a PG-13 rating, long after the buzz had worn off. 13 so with that harsh and well-established reality as the backdrop. Now let's take a look at Pizzagate. WikiLeaks releases John Podesta's emails. The Podesta emails went public as of October 7, 2016. And were devastating to the Clinton campaign for other reasons, at least initially. As the Millennium Report pointed out, John Podesta is not only the ultimate Democratic power broker, Beltway insider and powerful political fixer, his professional resume is both long and deep in the U.S. federal government. Podesta was Bill Clinton's White House chief of staff back in the 1990s, Barack Obama's counselor to the president, and chairman of Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential campaign. There is also tangible proof that the emails are legitimate, as DKIM was used on the servers, and the public keys are valid. This was discussed rather thoroughly in the Reddit thread before they closed it, although might be covered in the Vote thread now. To date, WikiLeaks has published over 10 million emails without a single fake, and so far no one has officially contested the validity of the leaked emails. Food-related keywords used to speak in code out of 2,060 total emails in the first Podesta collection. There are 149 instances of pizza, 73 of hot dog, 85 of cheese, 78 of pasta, 41 of sauce, 84 of ice cream and 47 of walnut. The word map, which can refer to a telltale clue that could destroy the entire crime ring if left behind, such as through DNA evidence, appears 917 times. That's almost half of all the emails. These words often appear in very, very bizarre contexts that have nothing to do with food. That is one key element of Pizzagate. The term pizza itself appears to be code for a sexual partner, particularly if it is a minor, and again appears 149 times, although walnut appears 47 times in very strange ways. The equally popular nut cashew doesn't appear even once. This is most likely because walnut is a code word and cashew is not. An innocuous non-code word junk food like French fries only appears 13 times. Milkshake only appears 6 times. 14. Vegetable only appears 24 times. Pear only appears 25 times. Grape only appears 6 times. Avocado only appears 4 times. Strawberry only appears twice. None of these are code words. Understand the code words law enforcement authorities and online Urban Dictionary. Resources have identified the specific terms. We just mentioned pizza, cheese, sauce, pasta, etc. as code words for child sex trafficking. Code words allow people engaging in illegal activities to have a cover story in the event that their communications are discovered. A simple, much less serious example of code speak would be a college student referring to a bag of weed as a book, such as when talking on the phone or in an email about it. People engaging in criminal activities have always been aware of surveillance and use code terms to avoid getting caught, or at least reduce the risk. A simple-sounding question like, "Read any good books lately?" can lead to knowing laughter in cases like our hypothetical part-smoking college students. Here are the main words to watch for as we move forward. Hot dog equals boy pizza equals girl cheese equals little girl pasta equals little boy ice cream equals male prostitute walnut equals person of color map equals semen sauce equals orgy. You can research IT for yourself. Pizza and other specific food terms appear in very suspicious, non-food related ways in hundreds of different letters, sent by Clinton's campaign manager John Podesta and others. 1, 2, 3. Here are 3 notable examples. https://wikileaks org/Podesta emailid/emailid/19018. I consider ice cream, its purchase, and its consumption a rather serious business. We can't just willy-nilly toss it out and about in casual references, especially linked with the word free. 15. https://wikileaks org/Podesta emails/emailid/30613. Lo and behold, instead of pasta and wonderful sauces, it was a lovely, tempting assortment of cheeses. Yummy. I am awaiting the return of my children and grandchildren from their holiday travels so that we can demolish them. P.S. Do you think I'll do better playing dominoes on cheese than on pasta? Cheese is code for little girl, pasta means little boy. Not sure what playing dominoes is. https://wikileaks org/Podesta emails/emailid/32795. Hi John, the realtor found a handkerchief. I think it has a map that seems pizza related. Is it yours? Handkerchiefs are apparently used to catch sexual fluids and are saved by the perpetrator as a memento. Map is a code word for semen. Trust me, people this rich don't care if they lost a hanky, and they sure as heck don't eat this much pizza. More on the pizza part later. 16. Spirit cooking. We also learned about spirit cooking, a mock satanic ritual involving blood, semen and breast milk. Children were in attendance, along with celebrities and other power brokers like the Podestas. Here's an email of Marina Abramovic inviting the Podesta brothers to the ceremony. https://wikileaks org/Podesta emails/emailid/15893. So let's have a look at what a spirit cooking ceremony is really all about. Remember the reference, cut deeply into the middle finger of the left hand, as I will refer to it a bit later on. 17. These photos are from a chart. The black lines connected various people and photos on the chart. 18. And here's a photo of John Podesta with occult markings on his hands. Notice the band-aid on his left-hand middle finger, consistent with the spirit cooking ritual mentioned earlier. Cut deeply into the middle finger of the left hand and eat the pain. 19. Notice the freaky cannibal artwork hanging in John Podesta's office. And John's brother Tony Podesta is very close friends with former Speaker of the House and convicted pedophile Dennis Hastert. Here's a cryptic email from John to Tony about Dennis after he was caught, obviously in some sort of code. https://wikileaks org/Podesta emails/emailid/1286520. Yes, it's always sad when a grown man is held accountable for raping kids. Not WTF. And what sort of traffic is he referring to? Now let's have a look at John's brother Tony Podesta And then we'll move on to Comet Ping Pong and Jeffrey Elephantes. 21 Here's an interview with Tony Podesta where he speaks about Dennis Hastert and that they are still friends. Tony's not going to let a little thing like child rape come between old friends. http://www. ChicagoMag.com/Chicago Magazine/Felsenthal Files/December 2013/How the Podesta brothers rose from the 39th Ward to the White House/ and notice what is said in the article about his brother John and his temper. Politico's Glenn Thrush says that your brother John Podesta can have a short fuse, that he has a sulfuric evil twin named Skippy so fearsome that even the brash Rahm Manuel scrambled for cover. Next, let's have a look at Tony's unusual taste in art. He purchased a 7,000 square foot home that underwent 3 years of renovations to accommodate all of his art. http://washingtonlife.com/2015/06/05/ Inside Homes Private Viewing/. Though he purchased the 7,000 square foot residence in 2006, he was not able to move in until 2009, as it took nearly 3 years to finish the massive renovations he undertook. He regularly opens his house to casual pizza parties, co-hosted by his friend James Elephantes, the owner of Comet Ping Pong. Notice how his flagship sculpture in the foyer of his home resembles Jeffrey Dahmer's handiwork, complete with the absence of a head. This sculpture is called the Arch of Hysteria. 22 He is also quite as fond of the artwork of Biljana Djurjevic. Would you hang these in your home? And finally, the Podesta brothers were apparently staying in Portugal at the time of Madeleine McCann's disappearance on May 3, 2007. They were staying at the residence of Sigmund Freud's grandson Sir Clement Freud, who is a known pedophile, and his home is just 1/3 mile from where Madeleine disappeared. Here's a police sketch of the suspects, alongside photos of the Podestas. Sir Clement Freud was tied to Madeleine's disappearance. In fact, he befriended the parents after the disappearance. http://www. thedayliebast.com/article/2016/06/14/Freud's grandson linked to Madeleine McCann and VIP pedophile ring. HTML and Scotland Yard says they know who took Madeleine, but they cannot arrest them because international law will not allow them to be brought to justice. https://www. youtube.com/watch V=Z8C3F26M8Q23. So before we even get to Comet Ping Pong and James Elephantes, let's recap. A huge global pedophilia network has operated since at least 1980. This pedophilia ring reaches to the very highest levels of church and state. Previous investigations have been silenced by federal and local law enforcement. The Podesta emails are loaded with obvious and known pedophilia code words. The Podestas enjoy attending satanic rituals like spirit cooking. The Podestas have bizarre taste in art associated with satanic rituals. The Podesta brothers highly resemble suspects at a child abduction crime. Seen, the Podestas are connected and active at the highest levels of government. Mainstream media is obviously ignoring this epic scandal as much as possible. James Elephantes and Comet Ping Pong. Let's have a look at James Elephantes, the owner of Comet Ping Pong Pizza Parlor in Washington, D.C. For starters, James Elephantes appears to be a pseudonym cipher designed to resemble J'aime les enfants, which means I love children in French. He is also well connected with the Podestas and the Clinton campaign. 24 and GQ magazine named him one of the 50 most powerful people in Washington, D.C. He owns Comet Ping Pong Club, as well as Bucks Fishing and Camping 2 doors down from Comet. 25 Now let's look at some of his leaked Instagram posts. Notice the comments for some context. Here he refers to this baby as a horard, short for whore plus retard. 26 And who likes to share pictures of creepy torture rooms with the #murder, lock up mom and no extra food. 27 And he clearly knows spirit cooker Marina Abramovic, who by the way is apparently age 70. Here's a handkerchief of sorts. Notice the strange embroidery and the note about Moloch. Moloch is the biblical name relating to a Canaanite god associated with child sacrifice. https://n wikipedia.org/wiki/Moloch28 Self-explanatory. Ping pong in London sounds tempting. Seems like an expensive game of ping pong. And what's with the drugs? He was smart enough to turn the label so you can't see what the drug is. 29 These pictures got everyone thinking the trench is a tunnel used to move children around. Comet Ping Pong has no basement, However, Bucks, owned by Elephantes and only 2 doors away, does have a basement. Also, underpinning is a term used in tunnel making. See comments. Notice the blue ping pong table in the background of this photo on the left side. Here's a more detailed analysis of the ping pong table and the basement at Bucks. https://www. YouTube.com/watch. V equals 8 ra td ukx ni 8 and t equals 930. Chicken lovers is a term that means an adult male homosexual sexually attracted to underage males, used somewhat derogatorily. Why does daddy like butt? 31 James Elephantes defended this photo on Fox News, saying the parents were there and they did this. I love children, and who are these guys? 32 What you just saw above were all posts from James Elephantes. The first 5 posts below appear to be from employees, as the posts say Comet Ping Pong on them, and the very last one, lower right, is not marked Comet Ping Pong from the sender, but it does have a response by Elephantes. 33 Before we go inside Comet Ping Pong, let's take a look at this unclassified FBI document about pedophilia symbols. Remember that Satanists and people into the occult are really into symbols. 34, 35, 36. Now let's check out Comet Ping Pong, one of the restaurants James Elephantes owns in Washington. We'll also take a look at some of the other businesses in the area, as they all appear to be interconnected in some way. 37 Here's the Comet menu, which has a logo of 2 ping pong paddles on it that looks very similar to the FBI-identified logo for Child Lover. The wooden handles form a very clear Maltese/Templar cross, tilted sideways. There is also a subtle suggestion of a human face that has been blindfolded, the white strip over the 2 circular paddles, and gagged, as seen in the X. The blindfold over the paddles says play, eat, drink. This may be an acronym for PEDI, a pedophile. Notice the corner symbols used in the exterior sign. The crescents and stars in the Comet logo are familiar to dark scholars, as they appear around images of Baphomet, the goat-horned god. The corners also resemble the wings. Remember, Satanists are obsessed with symbols. 38 Inside they have unusual all ages, live entertainment in the evenings. Check out some of the posters. The last one is billed as an exorcism. Note the 2 slices of pizza groping each other. 39 On the walls of the club, we see strange art and writing on the walls. Here's the recreation room. Notice the painting behind the ping pong players, shown close up on the right below. It features beings holding the dismembered heads of smaller beings. Here's another painting on the wall, with a man that appears to be ejaculating while playing ping pong with a smaller being. Also notice "Shut up N fuck" written on the upper left. According to a recent interview with Elephantes, these images have since been removed. 40 Finish eating your pizza after your session. Hackers on 4chan claim to have found a secret area of encrypted videos on the Comet Pizza website server. Although they could not de-encrypt the videos, they were able to extract an image with text on it that provided instructions to those who were accessing the videos. The instructions used code language to discuss an app that viewers would download and use one time only. When the disclaimer said, each image below is available for $1,000 in fine print, you most likely have to add a 0 to get the price they are charging for a captured child. We have 4 surviving pizzas from last month's session. All are on sale at an extremely low price, as they are in poor health and not expected to survive, so a requirement is that you finish eating your pizza after your session. This month's special includes a 30% discount on Torture. 41 Majestic APE. Another disturbing aspect of Pizzagate are the videos of Majestic Ape. The name Amanda Kleinman is likely a distraction, as Majestic does not look or sound like her. https://www. YouTube.com/watch. V equals SHZRNTRMQLS and feature equals Yuru. B and T equals 18s. The hands of Majestic Ape, as seen in these music videos, are clearly male. They have the same size and shape as those of Elephantes, and have no hair just like those of Elephantes. https://www. Indiegogo.com/projects/heavy breathing s release of airtight / the mouth that we see through Ape's mask looks exactly like Elephantes' mouth, including the thin lips, noticeable indentions around the philtrum below the nose, and the shape of the corners. Furthermore, the voice of Majestic Ape, while speaking through the vocoder, sounds exactly like a pitch-shifted version of Elephantes' voice. At the very least it is a man. Perhaps that's the joke, since they say the artist's first name is Amanda. 2 tapings have emerged so far of Majestic joking about raping and murdering children and babies on the Comet Pizza stage, which again is owned and run by James Alefantis. The longer version has since been removed from YouTube, but here's a link to the second one. https://www.youtube.com/watch v=9 at WSQZ-FMVO. This captioned exchange about preferring children ended with a very creepy Satan laugh. Exchange starts at about 1 minute. https://www.youtube.com/watch v=shzrntrmqls and feature Euro. B&T =18s42 Basta Pizza. Another pizza place, just a few doors down from Comet Ping Pong, is Basta Pizza. Basta means beast in Portuguese. You remember Portugal, where the pedo brothers are exact matches to the child abduction suspect drawings, and the Basta logo is the same as the FBI's boy lover symbol. Once the investigation revealed the meaning of their logo, the company changed it on their website, even while the original was still visible in their menu. Remember the Marlock Maskine note with the hankies James Alefantis received as a gift. Marlock Maskine represents Marlock, the god child sacrifices were made in the fire oven in the belly of the beast or Basta. 43 Terrassal Bistro. Across the street from the 2 key pizza places is a bistro called Terrassal. Up until recently, Terrassal had the Girl Love logo prominently displayed on their website, right below a picture of a celebrity guest who just ran for president. Notice the smaller hand inside the larger hand, inside the FBI Girl Lover logo. 44 Politics and Prose. The newly altered version of the Basta Pizza logo has also appeared on the Politics and Prose bookstore website, another business on the same block that has been implicated just since Pizzagate began. This business is apparently owned by Hillary's speechwriter. As revealed on Wikipedia, the Politics and Prose storefront has the Little Boy Lover logo written into the ampersand and symbol in the middle of the title. 45 The Skull and Crossbones. These 2 screen captures from a SGT report video reveal that a skull and crossbones death symbol was clearly visible on the sidewalk in front of Politics and Prose as of July 2010. This symbol was easily visible in a Google Maps Street View search. 46 The skull and crossbones symbol is also seen in the Skull and Bones Society, also known as the Brotherhood of Death, which many US presidents have been members of. All the way to the White House. The email chain below is posted under the Global Intelligence Files leak at WikiLeaks.org. The Global Intelligence Files are more than 5 million emails from the Texas-headquartered global intelligence company Stratfor. https://wikileaks.org/gfile/doc/12/1,223,066 Get ready for Chicago Hot Do. G Friday. HTML from Don Kuykendall Mail to Kuykendall at Stratfor.com sent Thursday, May 14, 2009 1:59 p.m. to Stratfor Austin. Subject: Get ready for Chicago Hot Dog Friday to celebrate all you hot dogs out there. Rick, you can participate as well. Don Art, Kuykendall President Stratfor from Fred Burton Mail to Burton at Stratfor.com sent Thursday, May 14, 2009 2:39 p.m. to Don Kuykendall CC, Rick Eisenstein, Daryl O'Connor, Copeland Susan. Subject: Get ready for Chicago Hot Dog Friday. I think Obama spent about $65,000 of the taxpayers' money flying in pizza/dogs from Chicago for a private party at the White House not long ago. Assume we are using the same channels. 47 Get ready for Chicago Hot Dog Friday. If we get the same waitresses, I'm all for it. Rick S. Eisenstein Stratfor SVP Publishing 700 Lavaca Cent. Suite 900 Austin, TX 78701, flying in $65,000 worth of hot dogs seems very odd, especially given that you cannot bring food into the White House. However, when you consider that hot dog is a code word for boys, pizza is a code word for girls, and waitress means prostitute, then the whole email chain makes much more sense. 48 Blackwater founder Eric Prince's stunning reveal. On November 4, 2016, Breitbart News featured a very significant article entitled Eric Prince, NYPD Ready to Make Arrests in Anthony Weiner Case. Blackwater founder and former Navy SEAL Eric Prince claimed he had insider knowledge of the investigation that could help explain why FBI Director James Comey had to announce he was reopening the investigation into Clinton's email server last week. The NYPD found a lot of other really damning criminal information in the 650 emails on Weiner's laptop, including the fact that Hillary went to this sex island with convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. Bill Clinton went there more than 20 times. Hillary Clinton went there at least 6 times. He said, the NYPD wanted to do a press conference announcing the warrants and the additional arrests they were making in this investigation, and they've gotten huge pushback, to the point of coercion from the Justice Department. 49. As we read further in this key Breitbart article, we hear that the mayor of NYC wanted nothing to do with the 650,000 new emails, and the NYPD feels they are proof of great evil. As for Bill de Blasio, the mayor of New York City, Blackwater founder Eric Prince said he has heard that de Blasio wants to stay away from this. The new Clinton email evidence is so bad, the email content is so bad, that I think even de Blasio wants to stay away from it, which is really telling, he said. For any cop that is aware of this level of wrongdoing, and they have veterans in their family, they owe it to them to stand up and shine the light of truth on this great evil. This is stuff coming right off a hard drive that was owned by Weiner and his wife Huma Abedin, Hillary's closest advisor for the last 20 years. He said of the new bombshells, this is not from some hacker or anybody else, this is a laptop seized from a warrant in a criminal investigation. This kind of evil, this kind of true dirt on Hillary Clinton. Look, you don't have to make any judgments, just release the emails, Eric Prince urged. Just dump them, let them out there, let people see the light of truth. Steve Pikesenik confirms the Epstein connection in this 3-minute video, https://www, youtube.com/watch, v=12zvlaz-x3q, and here's a scan of the actual flight log, http://www, foxnews.com//2016/05/13/ flight logs show Bill Clinton flew on sex offenders jet much more than previously known. HTML50, what about Breitbart? On February 4, 2011, Andrew Breitbart tweeted, how Prague Guru John Podesta isn't a household name as a world-class underage sex slave ARP cover-upper defending unspeakable dregs escapes me. Then, a year later, all throughout February 2012, Breitbart telegraphed the release of a video that he said would appear on March 1st. This video, he claimed, would be severely damaging to Obama's re-election campaign. Wait till they see what happens March 1st, he said, right before the anticipated release. On February 28, 2012, he tweeted, how much longer until they kill me, heart attack or car accident, or frame me for a crime? Read me while you can. Andrew died of an alleged heart attack on March 1, 2012, just 2 days later. Coincidence? The coroner who conducted the investigation died of arsenic poisoning just 2 months later. It's not that hard to figure out what happened here. Will Steve Bannon pursue justice? Steve Bannon took over Breitbart News after Andrew's death, becoming executive chair in March 2012. It is therefore very interesting that Trump appointed Bannon to a cabinet-level position as his chief strategist and senior counselor. Mainstream media outlets are in an all-out panic about Bannon's new role, doing everything they possibly can to demonize him. Bannon does have character defects. The media is amplifying them to the point where it seems as if that's all there is to see. However, Bannon's appointment makes me hopeful that Pizzagate arrests will take place sometime after the inauguration on January 20th. 51. The culture of child rape. NAMBLA and Modern Boilover magazine. NAMBLA is an acronym that stands for the North American Man-Boy Love Association. It was founded in 1978, and they believe consensual sex with young boys should be legal. http://www, nambla.org/https://n, Wikipedia, org/wiki/North American Man/Boy Love Association. It was discovered during the Franklin cover-up scandal. See page 8. NAMBLA funneled massive amounts of money through the Franklin Credit Union. 52. David Wilcock and his team at Divine Cosmos. Com found a digital copy of issue 14 of Modern Boilover magazine, which has no explicit pictures, while searching for the FBI document on linked in SlideShare. It appears to have been saved there as further evidence to be used in investigations. It is not at all something they recommend reading due to the creep factor, which is off the charts. The triangular Boilover logo appears all throughout the magazine, including the logo for KBLR, Boy Love R, radio. The following pages are excerpts from Modern Boilover magazine. 53-54. Here's an article about where to take your young friend if And it ends with the topic of pizza. 55. It's everywhere. It's important to understand the scope of this problem. They are literally laughing at us, flaunting it in our news and entertainment, or as I like to call it, programming. Now that you have seen the strange pedophilia underworld and their code words, have a look at this 2-year-old music video from Katy Perry. The video features dancing pizzas, ice cream, and some sort of strawberry critter bending over like it wants anal sex. Also the penis-shaped ice cream, with a red head no less, thrusts up and down in the video, straight stuntin'. This is not subtle stuff here. She is flat out telling you that they abuse children and it's no big deal. Lyrics: it's no big deal, it's no big deal. It's no big deal, this is no big deal, this is how we do, yeah. Chilling, laid back, straight stuntin', yeah, we do it like that. I imagine it's a very big deal to the children being raped. Here again is the list of the basic code words for child abusers. Hot dog equals boy pizza equals girl cheese equals little girl pasta equals little boy ice cream equals male prostitute walnut equals person of color map equals semen. 56. Ping pong is a slang reference for sex, due to the rhythmic motion involved. They even simulate an ejaculation with a fire extinguisher under a blacklight. Remember the CSI episodes where they look for body fluids under a black light? Eating tacos, looking at Hardee's. 57. An ice cream is a code word that means male prostitute. https://wikileaks org/podesta emails/emailed/19018. It's no big deal on truck in background, really driving it home for you to accept that this is okay. 58. This is no big deal with the devil horn stubs hairdo. It's no big deal spelled out in pizza. Katie laid out like a dish. Pizza is code for girl, dressed in a pizza print bathing suit. 59. And Katy Perry is not the only celebrity obsessed with pizza or devil horn hairdos. 60. It's no big deal, she sings, as she rubs the paddle down her leg. This 15-minute video breaks down the Katy Perry video in much more detail. https://www. YouTube.com/watch. V equals UC MDESA TCQK and list equals PL Myanmar KO3R0 8BG Elv Boedo Yarj 1 WMPVR and index equals 28. This woman Tara from the UK has a great 60-minute video with more in-depth analysis. https://www. YouTube.com/watch. V equals OSLKT1 Veg6U master database saved from deletion. The central nexus point for Pizzagate research on Reddit was censored as it went viral, as were the backups, but thankfully archive.org captured it at its peak on November 22nd. https://web archive.org/web/20,161,083,118/https://m Reddit. com/r/pizzagate/comments/5.0kp/comet ping pong Pizzagate summary/ now that this link has been published, it may be censored off of archive as well. But for now, anyone can grab the data and mirror it. All the initial, landmark Pizzagate videos were based off of the research in this thread, though additional links are continually being discovered as well. 61. So after reading all this, are you a Pizzagator yet? Stay up to date at The Millennium Report, Calm State of the Nation 2012, Calm Divine Cosmos, Calm, and you can join or follow the investigation at https://vote.co/v/Pizzagate*. Special thanks to Divine Cosmos, Calm for some text portions and images. Special thanks to the Millennium Report, Calm for the Pizzagator graphic above. Many of the graphics included were not made by me. Thanks to all those out there who contributed, and thanks to everyone out there vigilantly investigating this and spreading the word. 62. Dedicated to all the children out there, who as you read this are locked away somewhere awaiting their next torture session, gang rape, or ritual sacrifice. I offer this work as a service to them, that it might help raise awareness and someday put an end to the scourge of Satanism and pedophilia on this earth. So as we enjoy our lives of comfort and ease, we must never forget this goes on every day, and we must not stop until we put an end to it and the perpetrators are brought to justice.